This is a News 2 breaking news alert.
We have two 15-year-old high school students that have been killed just showing up to go to school.
Now on News 2 at 5, a deadly school shooting in southwest Kentucky. More than a dozen students killed or wounded, some being treated in Nashville. Hundreds more ran for their lives.
Even people in the neighborhoods around there said that they could see kids running for safety.
15-year-old accused shooter is in police custody. The motive for the deadly attack is still unknown.
These children belong to this community.
We have team coverage now on News 2 at 5. And good evening, everyone. I'm Bob Mueller. Welcome to News 2 at 5.
And I'm Haley Wilgus. We continue to learn new information about this tragedy every minute coming into our newsroom. Here's what we know so far. 2 people are dead. 19 students are injured. 4 students are now at Vanderbilt Medical Center, where they are listed in stable condition. And the accused shooter is 15 years old. He is now in custody.
The shooting happened just as school was starting in Marshall County, Kentucky, about 20 miles south of Paducah.
We have live team coverage tonight. News 2's Jessica Jaglois and Brent Ramadna are live tonight in Marshall County. And News 2's Larry Flowers is live at Vanderbilt Medical Center, where 4 students are being treated for their injuries tonight.
We begin tonight with News 2's Jessica Jaglois outside Marshall County Middle School, where students were reunited with their parents. And Jess, you spoke with a witness to this mass shooting.
Yes, he says he already spoke to a counselor today because of the horrors that he witnessed. Bryson Conkright told me that the shooter was a fellow classmate and that he didn't seem to be aiming at anyone in particular. He described the moments for me when that student opened fire and how he helped others get out of the school.
You could see this kid, he looked lifeless. He didn't think twice. He just walked over there. A split second later, started pulling the trigger. And I mean, like, friends got shot in the shoulder, and there's 2 girls who got shot, and then, which I'm all in the middle of this really close, and I've seen a bunch of them get shot, but the worst one was Gage. It was just unbelievable. Like, everybody running, and we get down there and the door jams and everybody it stops, people can't get out. So I like go through there and I try to kick the door, and then it opens after I kicked it, and then everybody's like fleeing out. I looked to my left and there's one of my best friends, William Riley, with blood running down his leg. He got shot in the leg. It was crazy.
There are vigils planned throughout the community tonight to both honor the 2 students who died in the shooting and all of those who lived through it. We plan on attending one of those vigils, and we'll have a live report at 6 o'clock. Reporting live, I'm Jessica Jaglois, News 2.
Thank you, Jess. It's just all hard to comprehend sometimes. News 2's Brent Ramadna has also been in Marshall County all day, talking to people impacted in the community.
And Brent joins us now live outside of Marshall County High School. Brent.
Yeah, that's right. A traumatic experience for the students, teachers, anyone inside, and the people in this community here. I can tell you, when we got to the scene this morning, we saw Kentucky State Police walking through the crime scene here, and there actually is crime scene tape still up as this is an ongoing investigation. Now, as you mentioned, we did talk to some people nearby. We talked to business owners who described that scene, seeing students running away from the school, screaming. We also talked to one man whose girlfriend actually was a student here at Marshall County. Take a listen.
I was asleep for the first part of it. First thing that went through my mind was, was she okay? A lot of my friends that go there, they were in the band. Mainly was, are they okay? Is everyone safe? That's what was the first thing that went through my mind. Never would, as small as a community as we were, never would have thought this would happen. I know a lot of people, where some people are closer than others, but as, I just never would have thought this would happen.
As you can see, a small community greatly impacted here. Now, just moments ago, we actually saw a long line of cars lining up. That's because the school actually allowed some of those students who had left their cars here at the school to come back and get those cards. Obviously, a very tragic situation, especially for those students who had to come back to get those vehicles. I want to point out one more thing here. You can actually see off in the distance to my left and right, many crews still here. And then if you look close, there's actually crime scene tape off right in the entrance of the school. So we are learning or working to find out more about the shooter, that 15-year-old who opened fire on fellow students. Once we do find more, we'll be sure to update you. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Brent. We also know 4 students are at Vanderbilt Medical Center right now being treated.
The emergency room was busy at Vanderbilt. That's where News 2's Larry Flowers joins us from tonight. Larry?
Well, Bob, a total of 5 students were originally brought here, all teenage boys, but unfortunately, one of them died this afternoon. Now, News 2 was here as 5 helicopters, one after the other, flew those Kentucky patients here for treatment. Now, Vanderbilt doctors say the injured students and their parents are traumatized, but they're handling the situation as best they can. Now, Vanderbilt is a level 1 trauma center, and doctors say they train for situations like these. They say it's a sad day.
It does kind of tug at your heartstrings, but overall, no matter what the situation is, whatever the traumatic event is, we're going to handle it the same way every single time, with the same passionate care that we give to every one of those individuals.
Now, doctors tell me the 4 students are expected to survive from their injuries. They are expected to be here at Vanderbilt between 3 to 5 days, depending on how quickly they recover. That is the latest here at Vanderbilt Medical Center. Larry Flowers, News 2.
Now, surrounding communities are coming together to honor the victims of this shooting.
Yeah, as you heard Jessica and Brent tell us, vigils will be held tonight in Kentucky. News 2's Nick Calloway joined us live from one of the sites where a vigil will be held tonight. Nick?
Hey guys, yeah, when tragedies like this happen, people need a place to go to be together and to grieve together. Luckily, there are plenty of opportunities for people to do that. We've counted at least 28 vigils and prayer circles tonight and tomorrow morning here in this part of Kentucky. One of those will be at tomorrow morning at 7:10 a.m. at the Paducah Tillman High School on the front lawn. All schools are invited to attend. Others are being held at schools and churches across the community, including here at Bethel Baptist Church here in Marshall County. Obviously, people here in the Commonwealth of Kentucky have a lot to process in the wake of this deadly shooting. Back to you.
Thank you, Nick. While we're still waiting to learn the identities of the students injured, killed, we do know the name of at least one student. The mother of 17-year-old Daniel Austin says her son was shot in the right arm. Daniel is a special needs student at Marshall County High School. A teacher and a student took him to the hospital themselves.
Well, this shooting brings back tragic memories for this community. 20 years ago, 20 miles away in Paducah, Kentucky, Michael Carneal opened fire, killing 3 students, injuring 5 others. The community held a special vigil just last month in honor of those victims. Unfortunately, shootings at schools are becoming more common. Just since January of this year, shootings occurred at 8 schools or colleges.
The group Everytown Research says in the first 3 weeks of 2018, shots were fired at 8 schools, but people were not injured in every case. It's important to note this group reports every shot fired at a school, but that doesn't always mean someone is injured. So far this year, only 2 of those shootings had injuries. Everytown Research was formed after the Sandy Hook school shooting in 2012. Since 2013, the group says there have been 280 school shootings in the U.S.
We are continuing to monitor the developments in Marshall County, Kentucky closely, and will post updates at WKRN.com. And tonight here on News 2 at 6, authorities are expected to give us an update at the top of the hour. We'll have more on that in a live report here on News 2 at 6. It is Tuesday. Let's take a look at your rush hour home, and you can see that Franklin is 41 minutes away, Clarksville 48 minutes away, about 36 minutes to Lebanon, 57 minutes to Murfreesboro. Not too bad, actually, beginning to slow up just a little bit We show you the inner loop. There's the downtown office buildings and stadium. You can see 24, 65, and 40 slowing up a little bit as folks try to get out of the downtown area. We widen out to the area interstates. A lot of green still on 440, 65 south and 24 south east beginning to slow up. But other than that, moving pretty nicely. Let's take you outside. This is I-24 east of the 65 junction. You can see all the headlights. That means folks are actually moving, but at a little less than speed limit, so be careful out there. Danielle?
And we're talking about some wind out there tonight. 41 degrees in Nashville, but you factor in those winds out of the north and west, makes it feel even colder than that. Most of us in the low 40s now, in the upper 30s in Lawrenceburg, Paris, 39 Shelbyville, 38 in Crossville, and 39 in Jamestown. Winds again 5 to 10 miles an hour, and this is what it actually feels like. It feels like 31 degrees in Jamestown. It feels like even 38 in Nashville and 33 in Dixon. So if you're stepping out this evening, temperatures continue to drop off into the 30s. We'll have mostly cloudy skies turning to partly cloudy skies, and we will see eventual clearing as we head into the overnight. Storm tracker radar right now is quiet, but we are watching a little bit of this disturbance here to the north. Some of these may sprinkle into our northern and eastern zones. We could have a spot shower or spot flurry overnight, but that's really about it. But big changes are coming. We're going to talk about when we see the 60s and when we could see some significant rain ahead.
See you in a bit. Thank you, Danielle. Still to come here on News 2 at 5. We continue to follow the deadly school shooting in Kentucky. Coming up next, hear from more students who witnessed this tragedy take place.
How survivors say they knew what to do in this crisis. That's coming up next. You're watching WKRN News 2 at 5.